Hey, what's going on everyone? It's Chase here at Rocky Mountain. Thank you so much for joining me. Today's video, we have the new Sidi Crossair HD. This is the Billy Bolta version that I have here. That's why you got the pink and the yellow. But this boot was built specifically for enduro, hard enduro riding. If that's the type of riding that you like to do, this is the boot that Sidi has made specifically for you, and here is why. When you compare this to the regular Crossair or the Crossair X, and I've done spotlight videos on both of those, I've done a ride review for the Crossair. I love the Crossair. It's been probably easily one of my favorite boots to ride in since it first came out. But what makes this unique to hard enduro riding is this right here. It is the sole that they're using. This is a trial style sole. It's flat all the way across the bottom. There's no step in the back towards the heel. And you look at the tread pattern, it looks just like a trials boot. And the compound that they're using is meant to give you as much grip and traction as possible. So whether you're standing on the bike or if you're planting on an obstacle, a log, rock, things like that, they want this to give you as much grip as possible. And that's why they're using this style of sole on the Crossair HD. And again, that is why there is no step at the heel, so it's easier to slide your feet forward and back. Because in hard enduro, you are moving your feet around all the time, so they just don't want anything right here that can catch when you are doing that. That's the main difference between the standard Crossair and the Crossair HD. Now, if you're familiar with the Crossair, maybe you watched that spotlight video I've done or the ride review I've done, just know that from the sole up, everything is the same as the Crossair. It's just this right here that is going to be different. But if you're not familiar with this boot, I'm going to break it all down for you today. As I mentioned, when the first Crossair came out, that's the boot that Malcolm Stewart's been wearing for Supercross and Motocross. I've been spending a lot of time in it. I love it. And if you have questions that I maybe don't answer in this video, make sure to leave those down below. But I've also done a ride review with Riley Bruff, where we both ride in the Crossair for the first time and we break it down. Go check that video out as well. Now, one of the factors that I like so much about the Crossair and the Crossair HD is the weight. This boot for a premium option is by far the lightest option you're gonna see. In fact, I weighed this right around a size 9. It comes in well under 4 pounds per boot. Might not sound like that big of a deal, but when you compare this to other brands, it is substantially lighter. So the Fox Instinct's probably next in line, but that's still gonna be, 5-6 ounces lighter per boot, heavier per boot. And then when you get up to like say an SG22 or even a Tech 10, you're about a pound difference per boot. And that is something that you notice right away when you put these on, is how light they are. And I'm gonna explain to you how they lighten this boot up and they make it that way. But before I do that, let's just talk about the fit real quick. This was also very important. The Sidi Crossair 3 SRS, which is still available. I've ridden in that boot. Me and that boot do not get along. It's very narrow. It doesn't feel very good around my heel. That's subjective to me. Other riders are gonna feel totally different, which is totally fine. But when they came out with the Crossair, they made the fit a little bit wider. And now I can wear this boot. I wear a size 43, which is about a 9.4 American. The toe box has plenty of width and it fits me well in the heel area. I can wear it all day long. I don't have any issues. In fact, I like to wear my Crossairs when we go for adventure rides, just because it's a boot that's lightweight, so I'm on the bike all day. It's nice to wear for that as well. But we have our fit guarantee. If you get this, if you're not happy with the size or the fit, send it back to us in brand new unused condition. We'll make sure you get free shipping both ways on your first exchange, so you get the size and the fit that is going to be best for you. All right, so we've talked about the sole. It is a traditional stitched on sole, which Sidi, they've done in the past a lot. They have their Crossair 3 TA, which is traditional application. That's also a stitched on sole. It is replaceable, so if you wear this out, you can have a new sole stitched on. And they also do have that traditional toe cap you see here on the end as well. But as we start to work our way up, so something unique with the Crossair is you've got this hard plastic here in the toe box. Again, great impact protection there. And you'll notice though, when you get to above the ankle, they've really simplified this boot. It's a 3-buckle design versus 4 on the Crossair X that they have. And one of the major differences between this and the Crossair X, well, they don't offer this sole in the Crossair X, but when you compare the two side by side, the Crossair X is like the Crossair 3, where it has a lot of hard plastic all the way up to the top of the boot that wraps around. The Crossair, they simplified it where you don't have all that hard plastic up here on the upper. You don't have as many replaceable parts, but they did that again to simplify it and to bring the weight down. Now, I know that there's gonna be riders, because I've already talked to some that had this concern when the Crossair first came out, is, well, is this still going to offer good impact protection, seeing that it doesn't have all that extra hard plastic up here on the upper? What's cool that Sidi did is that inside here, they have a fiberglass exoskeleton that you can't see, but it is there to offer additional reinforcement and protection if you do go down. Like I said, I've been spending a lot of time on my Crossairs. I've had a few crashes. I haven't had any issues that I can speak of where I didn't feel like the boot had enough protection when I did have a crash. Now, if you are looking at this and you think, you know what, I like it, but I want more of that hard plastic, check out the Crossair X. But they're using the same base fabric that they've used for a very long time. So microfiber fabric here in the base, all the way up. It's a very durable, lightweight, breathable fabric. Same buckle design that Sidi has used forever. And what's unique about their straps is that they actually will lock into place. So if you want to lengthen this strap, you notice that you have these little teeth right here. You got to pop those out. You'll hear it. Then you can adjust the strap. And then when you go to tighten it down, you just got to pop those back in there. You just press down, they'll pop back in, and then you secure the buckle. It's just there to make sure the strap doesn't actually get pulled out when you're doing up the buckles, and it works well. And then the buckles themselves, they're metal, they're replaceable. Again, what I like about these buckles is that they always work, even if they get dirty, when they're muddy. You know, some buckles will tend to get stuck and it's really hard to snap those down. That is not an issue with these buckles from Sidi. All right, so again, 3 buckles going up. And then up here at the very top, I'll open this for you. Just a big old Velcro or panel of Velcro. And you can see that they do use this mesh fabric up here at the top, again, just to help keep it as light as they can. On the inside, you've got the same liner system that Sidi has now used for a long time, moisture wicking, antimicrobial. Again, when you put your foot inside here, there's a lot of padding around the ankle. That just kind of helps really secure in place. And one thing I talk about a lot when I'm wearing boots is heel float. And that's a term I use just to mean, you know, when I put the boot on and I do up all the buckles, do I feel like my ankle is locked in and secure, or do I feel like it's kind of loose and it's got some wiggle room? I don't get any wiggle room when I have the Crossair on, which for me is a big deal. I really like that. So let me buckle this back up real quick. I'm gonna tighten up the strap just a hair. All right, so as far as the ankle hinge system, if you are familiar with the Tahoe boot that came out a few years ago, it's actually the same, very, very similar to the Tahoe, but you actually have a dual pivot. So you have a pivot point on the upper and the lower, both for the medial and the lateral side. And they have a couple different options when it comes to hyperextension stops. So here in the back, you have this piece right here. So as that flexes, that actually does have a stopping point. And then here in the front, what I like is that they use this little insert right here that goes in between these 2 lower straps. And this doesn't look like it's gonna do a lot, but it is very noticeable. And let me start this by saying, the Crossair boot is probably the easiest boot to break in of all the premium boots that is on the market. You put a pair of these on, you're gonna feel like you've already got plenty of time in them from the very first time you hop on the bike. So I'm gonna say pretty much 0 break-in time when you get a pair of these. Now, with that being said, some riders might think, well, is it gonna give me enough support for impacts, things like that? Well, that is why they have this little insert right here, because as the boot flexes forward, you see how it catches there? So the boot can still flex beyond that point, but that just dampens some of that impact to offer you a little bit more support. And then if I go the other direction for hyperextension, it will catch and it helps limit that range there. So you have it going forward, you also have it going back. Now, if you're doing more hard enduro, very slow technical riding, and you just want as much range of motion as possible, this is removable. You just have these 2 screws up here at the top. You can take those off, pull that out, and it just comes right off. It's very simple to do. So you've got some options there. On the inside, they are using this rubber all the way up the burn guard, which is very, very tacky, very grippy when you're gripping the bike. And then here, you actually have these 3 little inserts. Now, again, those don't look like they would do a whole lot, but I'm telling you from my own experience while I ride, these do a great job of gripping the bike. And then you still have a couple replaceable parts on this like you have with the Crossfire 3. This insert right here, that is replaceable. You can see the screws that hold that on. This entire piece that wraps around the ankle, what's nice is that that is also replaceable. So if you're riding a ton and you're wearing this piece out, you need to replace it, you can do that. So there still are some parts that are replaceable with the Crossair HD. But overall, I think this thing's gonna be a home run for the riders looking for this style, where you want a premium boot, but you want a sole built specifically for hard enduro style of riding. You're gonna like this. If you have questions or comments about it, please leave those down below. We'll get those answered. To grab a set, click on the link or head over to RockyMountainATVMC.com. As I had mentioned, I've done spotlights on the Crossair and the Crossair X. Go give those a watch. We ship for free over 75 bucks. If you want to stay up to date on product videos like this, get subscribed to the Rocky Mountain YouTube channel. I am Chase, and we'll see you on the trails.